And we're live.
Hello and welcome to the Thursday Show, your weekly meta rundown, talking about the biggest and best tournaments all over the world. Welcome to the show, everybody. We do this live normally at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's not live right now at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's 9 live earlier.
And there's
My
still
time
people in
zones
the
are all
chat.
messed up.
There's still
My
people
name is
popping
Paul
off.
Murphy, joined by Adam Camilleri
Evening, everybody, or afternoonish, everybody.
and Dustin Henshaw.
Good morning, everybody else.
This is like a meme about 8 months in the making, but I'm 0 miles outside of London.
He's actually 0 miles outside of London.
The show's over. We've done it,
hit the peak.
boys.
We've
we
hit
did
the peak. That's it. There's nothing more we can do.
Singularity boiling down to one. I've actually found a really good burger place really close
Already?
to where I'm at now.
Of course. Well, I don't know why I'm surprised.
I had to look. I had to try
Right.
several of them, and I've had one of the most worst burgers on the search for this.
I was about to say, did you hear them calling like sirens when you landed in town? It's like, I hear burgers.
You had to search them out. But anyway, anybody needs some burger tips in London, let me know. I'll tell you where to go.
Wow.
Get it close to an American experience.
You've had an awful one and a great one.
Yes.
How long have you been there?
This is a week.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought you
Okay,
got there like yesterday. I was
It'd be like
really...
3 hours, Adam.
3 hours, yeah. I eat 3 burgers in 3 hours. That's just
Yeah.
burger an hour.
But that's
see
not
most
what everybody's
Americans.
here for. And thanks for the folks that saw we were starting a little bit earlier. You can find if you're listening to us after the fact, thank you very much. We do this show live. We got a great chat community, always active, keeps us honest. We have a couple of events to talk about this week. The Rocky Mountain Open and the Southampton GT.
Yeah, two pretty big-sized events, one being 150 players, one being almost 200. And this is going to be another bumper week for the Arcs of Omen meta. And the metas are spicy. They are pretty interesting. Can't wait to unpack them. No shout-outs this week. There is a couple of events here, there, and everywhere. There's one in Portland, Victoria, my home state down the coast. Hopefully all those boys out there are having a good one. That's a nice 4-rounder. Can't remember the name of it, but that's the only event shout-out I can think of.
Well, it's an event shout out.
It's an event
That's
shout-out.
good enough.
So you
That's
said there was
box
none,
ticked.
and then you just gave one,
Box
so you
ticked.
lied.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got a lot of
I'm
objectives
fibbing.
we have to meet.
Fibbing.
And
Yeah.
much like a Warhammer 40k game, you got to you got your 5
That's
points.
right.
Let's move
You
on.
got our 5
You got
points. Yeah, all right, next turn.
Yeah, you get your primary, you got your secondary, you got your bonus. It's all there. And your
I
fuego,
love this.
just like real life.
Here's a comment. It's like, I don't care if it's bad for you. I'll eat cheeseburgers all the way to the ER.
Yeah.
Solidarity.
The
Practice
solidarity.
your burgering safely out there. Everyone knows that.
Yes, of course.
Everything's good in moderation. Then Chaz, look at that. It says a different time they were doing this allowed them to catch it live.
Yeah, see, there you go. Now we're actually giving everybody else a chance to catch us live and chat with us, ask their questions live. This is what we want. We're
We appreciate
inclusive.
everybody's
We're all
flexibility.
inclusive. So thanks a lot for joining us.
So just as much as we like to do an event shout out, I had intended there is a 110 player event going on in, I believe, Portland, Oregon this week called Rosehammer, and they hit us up being like, "Yo, cover our event." And I'm like, I had every intention. I even wrote him in the run sheet, and then T-minus, I think about 3 hours ago, I finalized it, and they still didn't have a list unlocked. So apologies if you're going to Rosehammer. Tell your TO to get it together and unlock those
We
lists.
tried.
For the, good old-
That was
for the
submitted
Thursday
to
show,
us,
boys.
I think, over to my Instagram, Fights with Dice. And so if you are having an event coming up and you want us to take a look at it, please submit it to us on the socials, and we'll take a look. Not everyone that gets submitted makes it into the show. Definitely, you get higher on the list if all your lists are open and you have
Factions
all
are
the
listed.
factions listed.
Mhm.
And gives us something to sink our teeth into, and then also talk and analyze. I'm excited to jump into this. The Rocky Mountain Open, Denver, Colorado. Denver's a great place. I got family right outside of Denver as well. Been to Denver. Cool place. Interesting airport. 152 players, 6-round event. Dustin, would you mind telling us what we're going to see there?
I always love doing that. So the Imperial Super Faction, there are 7 Sisters of Battle, 8 Custodes, 5 Admech, 16 Imperial Guard, or Asher Militarum if you're new to the game, 1 Grey Knight, 10 Imperial Knights. Space Marines are 6 Dark Angels, 6 Space Wolves, 3 Blood Angels, 2 Ultramarines, 2 Salamanders, 3 Black Templar, 1 Raven Guard, 1 Imperial Fist, 6 Iron Hands, 1 Death Watch. That is like the perfect amalgamation of what the Space Marine meta is right now, actually.
It's a good spread, actually.
Yeah.
Legitimately a good spread. For what it could be and what it is in our next event, this is a great spread. Yeah, yikes.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, Chaos.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. There's 13 Chaos Space Marines, 1 T-Suns. Hey, there's one coming out again. All right, that's what we like to see. 7 Death Guard, 2 World
He
Eaters.
just couldn't paint them red fast enough.
Couldn't diff him.
Couldn't diff them. 2 World Eaters, 3 Demons, and 7 Renegade Knights. In the Xenos Perfection, there's 3 Necrons, 10 Orcs, 6 Tau, and 10 Votan. That's actually surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hive Mind, there's 4 Tyranids, 4 Gene Stealer Cult, even out. Wow, that's crazy, actually. Eldari, 3 Drukhari, 1 Harlequin, 4 Assyriani, meaning the faction podium is, of course, Astra Militarum crushing it with 16. Then Chaos Space Marines a second with 13, and then Imperial Knights, Orcs, and Votan tied in third with 10. That's an interesting podium there. The Astra Militarum doesn't really surprise me.
The CSM really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, the CSM really does.
That might be their first podium in Arcs of Omen, to be honest. They have had
they've podium before.
I don't know if they have. Since
in Arcs of Omen. No, never mind.
Since Arcs of Omen
come
out, I can't remember them getting a podium previously. I mean, all through Nephilim, 100%. Emperor's children by themselves were getting podiums in Nephilim. And now you can't grab 2 to rub together, except for freaking Denver. So I want to know what it is about Denver. If there's anybody in the chat, is there any extra just pentagrams? Are people just like
it
up
is
in the Rockies?
The heart of the Eye of Terror.
Exactly right. Because 13 is heaps.
Astra Militarum, though, can you imagine them being this far ahead of the pack as far as like representation goes?
Now that the FAQ is in and Casterkin did not get the nerf that people thought they were going to get, maybe everybody was just holding back. I know they're going to get FAQ, so I can't do mortal wounds against all the different units. And then they did. They're like, actually, maybe I'll do this then.
Dude, legit, I know people who were specifically not running out to buy overcosted, scalped Cassican in Australia because you can't get them legit, or you can't get the ones from stores because they sold out immediately because people bought like freaking 30 packs, the bastards. And they're getting scalped, and they're like, well, I'm not willing to pay scalper prices when I know they're going to get nerfed. And then they didn't. So people are willing to throw down their hard-earned dollars for the unit now. Yeah, magnificent unit that it is. But it is a little OP in some facts.
The Imperial Knights, Orcs, and Votan. Imperial Knights being up there.
Imperial Knights is an interesting one. So you do have player place terrain on FL and FLG event, or player optimized terrain, and I do believe it'll be the same as Cherokee. Which, if it's the same as Cherokee, that means that the Necron table's not coming, the Hangar table's not coming, but you do get the beautiful Sisters, Chaos, Orc, and the big one, the big cathedral table. And all those aren't actually that great for knights. So I will actually be interested to see if people thought, because it's player place terrain, it's going to be a shooting gallery for the knight players, and then they get there and they're like, oh dear, not as good as I thought. The Votan's the other interesting one.
The knights are big, and they can't typically be obscured by the terrain and whatnot. There's the way you can position them, make sure that you get favorable lanes of movement and things like that. So it does make, in a player placed terrain format, the knights do get better, I think, in any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, exactly right. They have a lot more control about seeing onto, especially like at least one other objective on the table. They guarantee they're going to be able to shoot it, charge it, get to it. My problem is, so I played on the Sisters table a couple of times at Cherokee, and if I was playing Knights on that table, I'm like, yeah, bruh, if I get to put this down in a good position, this is bad for you, automatically bad for you. But there are some really good tables, like the Orc table is actually not too bad for Knights, so there is that. But jumping in, Votan and Orcs are both really interesting for this one.
Orcs I find Orcs, they have a lot more player base than the Votan would, so they can they're on the rise for sure.
The green tide is building. People are starting to realize how good Orcs can be in Arcs and starting to crack out the boys again. Also, they got a whole new lease on life in the fact that they actually do damage now.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
you mentioned this last week about the Adam with the Orcs, is that they are able to kind of generate points, and very similar to how you pre this PAX Necrons were doing.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's catching on, and do you still feel that way?
I absolutely do feel that way. I feel like people are getting more and more confident with their Orc builds. We're starting to see more Orc players generating top scores, and we're starting to see them, they're just realizing that, hey, even when I'm getting my ass kicked, I'm walking away with like 70 plus points.
Yeah,
if I play a solid game.
That's actually the big point about the Orcs right now, because they're becoming more of a blocker list in like team events because of the amount of points they can get. They don't even care about how many you get, and they can deny you a little bit too, which is great For singles, if you just need to win by a few points in singles, that's all you need. And Orcs can do that.
So this is the fundamental thing about 40k, and this is to your point, Paul. The ceiling for everybody is 100 points. You can't get 101 points. So everyone's ceiling is the same, but it's the floor.
I tried one time.
It's the floor. It's how high the floor is, how high your median or your average floor is going to be, your minimum score, how high that's going to be. That's the real scoring potential of your army, because a lot of people score, oh yeah, cool, everyone's best terms and conditions is 100 points, never going to change. But your worst condition, what's that score? That tells you how good that army really is. Yeah.
And how are the Votann hanging out? So as far as like the Votann, we know they're very powerful shooting. I think a little bit more maybe aggressive here in the player place training, getting to line up your shots. But do they have what it takes to take down a knight?
Yes and no. I mean, the knight game is a really interesting one on good terrain formats. It really comes down to, like you said, it's a skill based, who places the terrain better and who uses it more effectively. But then also, who's got the balls to put their stuff on the table, and who's the coward and chucks it all in reserve, or vice versa.
That's the point.
And not that I don't want to say it's cowardice or anything like that. That was just a funny way of explaining that to you. Do the smart thing.
Yeah, sometimes it's also really easy to misjudge what that smart thing is, and you don't. Turn 3, you're not getting any takesy backsies like, "Ooh, I really wish I had this thing on the table." Or whatever,
you don't mind. I'm just going to change this terrain and I'm going to put it over here instead. Is that okay? That's fine, right?
Like, well, if I knew I was going to get wiped, I would have just shifted it, just a quarter inch this way.
Yeah, exactly.
If I knew I was going to die, I would have done that differently. So I'm just going to do that.
But those are the types of decisions that come through repetition. So we know a lot of these players are they're play testing, they're doing these choices, they're running through these. If you are going to an event where the terrain is modular, like it, or even preset, do that demonstration at home.
Yeah,
going prepared. So yeah, I think that's we're seeing some choices here and trying to unpack those choices.
Yeah, it's crazy to see Votann at that high though. I feel like they're actually kind of dropping off in the meta. But if you're still winning with them, you like them, all power to you.
Well, the thing is though, I think we're getting more people playing them, but they're not doing as well.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
That does make sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, they're actually a hard thing to play into when you have less. The first couple of times you play Votann are literally the worst times you're going to play Votann. The more you learn about hey, if they can see me, I'm freaking dead. Let's just triple check that that's the truth.
Well,
it still is. Yeah,
that's actually the same thing with armies like GSC. The first couple of times you play them, you're just going to get dummied by anybody that kind of knows what they're doing. But after you learn how to play against, actually, it's not that bad if I do this.
Oh, let's jump into a couple of the top players in attendance and see what list they're bringing, or the memeiest list. I don't know.
We don't know what Adam's picked. Yeah,
these are 3 top lists, I believe. One of them is a little memey though, but is played by a very good player. So he's got some tools in mind. First up, we have Ben Jurek, who is currently listed as one of the WTC players for Team America. Whether he'll be one of the traveling performing players or one of the coaches really kind of depends if Orcs maintain their position in the meta coming into 10th edition. He's got Arcs of Omen, Fast Attack as his mandatory slot. He's got a Beast Boss on Squigosaur, Zagstruck, and a War Boss on Warbike. This is Goffs, if I didn't mention. He has a Weird Boy, 2x10 Beast Snagger Boys, 3 units of 10 Gretchen, 2 units of 10 Commandos, 8 Knobs. Mwah, happy to see him. 2x4 Squighog Boys.
Regular old knobs, not mega knobs.
Regular old knobs.
Run around with axes or whatever.
140 odd points, I believe. They're cheap as chips, I think.
So a couple of power claws in there, but then a bunch of big choppers.
Yeah, well, it's 4 and 4, I believe, if I remember right. 2 units of 4 Squighog Boys, like I mentioned, a unit of 10 and a unit of 5 Storm Boys, 2 Kill Rigs, and a single truck. The Knobs obviously have the Truck Boy upgrade going in said truck. And I actually am a big fan of this list. I think it's quite good. It brings all the tools, and he sneakily found a way to not have 2 War Bosses, but 3. So this is one of the things that Orcs can do now. They can pay the CP, get the second War Boss in, and then Zagstruck is a pseudo War Boss in this configuration. He can really perform like a War Boss can, because the War Boss a lot of the time who's tooled to be really killy, overkills the crap out of whatever he goes into. Just overkills 5 intercessors like you wouldn't believe. And so having one of them that's kind of almost as good as a War Boss, but can go into stuff that the War Boss you don't want to waste a War Boss on, big fan.
Yeah, no, I love this actually. I want to point out that the Knobs with the Truck Boy upgrade, I didn't even know they could do that. Why haven't people been doing this beforehand? Because that's amazing. Because one of the big things with the Truck Boy upgrade with the regular boys before was they'll go in, they'll probably bounce off it, maybe steal an objective. Knobs, they'll kill stuff. They will kill stuff.
They will do really good heavy lifting for you. And then in addition, it's actually got a sneaky amount of mortal wounds from the 2 kill rigs and the weird boy. He can actually pump out a couple. Can also play a really good psychic secondary game. Now the only risk here is that he's given you an overabundance of assassination options. Like he's got the 2 kill rigs, they're the characters, and then he's got four characters. Essentially, 3 of them being war bosses. You're going to have a shot at.
But that's a trap. That is a trap.
It is always a trap. Yeah, there's rarely a time I think it's
a bit of a gamble anyway, and that's just the way the orcs play.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is too, like because not only is it a trap, but if you are in a position that you're starting to fall behind on points a little bit, or they're getting really catching up, like, all right, well, I don't have to use these characters. You don't get your points. Yeah. So I think that's worth it, right?
It just kind of feel bad not to use a kill rig. Though.
It definitely does. Kill rigs, I think you just use those regardless. You give them the 6 points.
Yeah, those are the first two. And after they go down, then you think, maybe I need to make another plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, you can't hide the kill rigs anyway. They're 18 wounds.
Yes.
Or they're 16. Either way. Yeah, they're too freaking big for you to hide regardless. So they're going to go down if they pick Assassinate. But then you can just stonewall them there and be like, well, the rest of my war bosses, are pretty much just going to be counter assault. You ain't going to get them. They ain't going. They ain't shooting them out. But I am a big fan of this list. I think it's got so many good parts of the lists. Essentially having 3 transports. I think transports are very good right now.
Yep.
2 infiltrating units in the commandos. 2 pseudo infiltrating units in how fast storm boys are, and then some meat with the knobs and the squig hog boys. I like it a lot. I think it's all the food groups covered. Very good list.
Num num.
Next up, we have Matt Evans, who's playing Adeptus Mechanicus, and he's playing Riser. Now, this is a little spicy. Matt Evans is a great player.
What does it do? I don't know. I've never heard of Riser before.
Riser is the pseudo Blood Angels one, Paul. It's +1 to wound on the first round of combat. It's actually
that's a thing.
That's a thing.
What the?
That's a thing. People just don't know that's a thing you can do.
Mechanicus can do everything. There's something
apparently
we'll do everything.
People just forgot this was a thing, and this is good now. Like, it's just good.
Well, okay, you're saying that's good, and definitively saying it's good, but why is it good?
So let me tell you about the list, and we'll unpack that then. So he's got fast attack as his mandatory slot, and guess what, boys? We're back to the purity of the Nockman AdMech list, because we got Martial, Dominus, Manipulus, just all 3 covered. Talking about purity of form, we have 6 plasma destroyers. Then we have 20 rangers, 3x5 Vanguard, 10 Fulgurite Electro Priests, a unit of 8 and a unit of 7 infiltrators, one of who has the Fight's Last relic. Then we have 3 Einstrider Ballistari, 3 Cerberus Raiders, and 2 units, get this, of Dragoons with Taser
Well,
guns.
Yeah, because they got +1 to wound.
The erstwhile never seen Dragoon. Good old Matt Evans is cracking them out, trying to have a run with them.
Wait, the Fulgurites the ones that do mortal wounds on 6s to wound?
Yeah, they're the staffs.
Is it natural 6s to wound, or is it just?
It is natural. It's unmodified 6s.
I was gonna be very excited for. 5.
So he has some jank in this list. He has 2. So the Fulgurites come them at Adeptus Mechanicus. They come with a stratagem for Fight's Last. In addition, he has the Fight's Last also on the Ruststalkers. On the Infiltrators. He has taken Taser Goads. Everywhere he can take a Taser Goad, there is a Taser Goad. So he has exploding 6s, and essentially, so Taser Goads come with +1, +2, or +3 strength, depending on how long it is, essentially. If you got the short one on the Sergeant, it's +1.
It is a good way to look at it.
Yeah. If it's a longer, it's stronger. And because of that, the +1 to wound just means he's wounding just about everything on a 2. Like, he's just taking so many dice out of the equation.
Yep.
Where it kind of falls down.
What's that neg to save? It's not like 2 epic.
I think it's 2 for the Dragoons. The other ones are just 1, I believe.
Yeah, but without AOC, that's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I actually quite like this list. There is also a stratagem for Riser, which is Weapons of the Dark Age. So his 6 plasma destroyers can go damage 3. With D6 shot blast each. Deathwing Terminators are a thing in this meta, boys. They got 10-man units. You're gonna have min 3 shots on each, so 3+ on each of those at strength bajillion, rend bajillion, damage 3. Quietly, quite a good unit. And just gonna double check. Yeah, Taser Goad is +3 strength, -2 damage. They're gonna have 4 attacks each with 2 additional hits on every 6.
Those Cataphrons are kind of hard to hide, though. I think they're on 50 mil bases.
They're huge.
They are giant.
Look, that's the downside of doing them. But if you are able to, I don't know, infiltrate them,
yeah,
it's not necessary. pick your shots, not just or player place your way into a nice castle. Those units become a lot more attractive.
It absolutely is, and you'll be quietly annoyed by how much damage like 20 rangers with +1 to wound actually do to like comparable stuff. If they get into like neophytes and stuff like that, they're actually going to be rough.
Hey, why are you bringing up neophytes in this? Come on.
Infantry, guard infantry.
Things that you blast. No, Jacoria, help me out in chat there. There's 60 mil bases on those. I'd forgotten that they were just... Again, it's been a while since I've seen one, but they're on massive bases. So ridiculous. A unit of 9 or whatever that you have, you get the whole board.
I've played against... Remember when we had last edition, we had the Hammer and Anvil, but it was shorter, it was squat. You were brought in off the sides.
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah.
You were 9 in from the sides. I had a mate who played. I think it was somewhere in the regions of 60 Cataphrons, either breaches or destroyers, and he couldn't deploy his army. He couldn't deploy all his boys. He just physically couldn't fit them all in that. And I'm like, quality problems, mate. Go on.
Yeah.
But this has legitimately, this is a melee AdMech list, which people aren't really teching for or prepared for. I had a chat with Matt Evans. I actually interviewed him for. So Joe's going to be at this event, by the way. If we didn't mention it, War Games Live Joe. We'd love to support War Games Live. And he asked me to do some interviews to put in the dead air of his between rounds. So please go in and tune in if you see those. I interviewed Matt Evans about this list, and I asked him you don't have a huge amount of rend. Essentially, if the destroyers don't kill terminators for you or custodies even, how are you doing it? Because you don't have much rend. You got rend 2. You're going to go into shield guard, or you're going to give them 3 ups. Same for Deathwing Terminators. And he's like, I don't think I could make a list that's good into them anyway without being bad into everybody else. So I don't care. I'm just going to be good into the stuff I'm good into.
That's
which
fair.
is a thing.
I like that. Which really what he's telling you, he's telegraphing to you that he's going to figure out another way to win. He's not going to win on trying to remove those models. He's going to win on some other condition, which is, he's thinking about it, which is what you want to look for in a player that you expect to do very well.
And yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said, I'm just going to focus on my secondaries. I'm going to try and pick a point in the table where I can deny something like a Stubborn Defiance or fight for the middle over, pulling down a banner or two and just try and find the little 1% margins I can lever. Because I do agree with what he said. To make a list of AdMech that is really good into things like Deathwing Terminators, you actually find you just play guard and lose. Stuff of that ilk, or you're all in on the shooting phase. You're so all in on the shooting phase that custodians turn off your rerolls and you don't do anything. So there is things like that. So when you come into those brick walls, don't worry about them. If you don't have the time or the nuance or even the model range to fix your list for that one, or you think it's actually detrimental into the rest of the field to do so, don't. Just let go.
And maybe you don't play them.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's also true. You could avoid them.
There's 150 players. He's picked the meta right. There's only 10. So there's only 6 Dark Angels players here. I mean, Iron Hands and Custodians can do similar things, but there's 10 Orc players, and he's got a whole bucket of high strength +1 to wound attacks, and he's going to actually terrify Orc players with this list.
Very nice. So I think you got a knight list for us.
I do. Nice quick one to finish up. Brian Jones, also listed as one of the WTC members for Team America. He's playing Imperial Knights Freeblade Lance. Super heavy, of course, is his Arcs of Omen. He has a single Helverin, 2 units, 2 Warglaives, a single Moirax, a single Errant, and the juicy spiciness of a Castellan.
It's like a mighty short list, and that's the reason why.
That's why.
600 odd points in that one model right there. When was the last time we saw a Castellan, boys? And do you guys rate it?
See, this is tough. I like the Castellan variant on the Evil Knights better than I like the Imperial Knights.
Really?
The Tyrant.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I can see it.
Comparing the two.
So I think the Infernal house adds a lot to the Knight Tyrant, where you can supercharge it, make it, because the Knight Tyrant is kind of, the Castellans are kind of slow. The Dominus class is kind of slow. Making it faster to get an angle, supercharging one of its guns, making it transhuman versus somebody who's got just a godload of las cannons or something like that. They add another wrinkle to that unit.
True.
This one.
But on the Imperial side, it puts out a ton of quality firepower.
Yeah, can it make a 12 mortal wound shot or something like that?
Exactly where we're going. So this one is tooled specifically for a purpose. This one goes into reserve every game and comes in from reserve turn 1. So essentially exactly right. It's
always gets to shoot.
Always gets to shoot at least once.
And
you're going to take something. Exactly right. Essentially, you get to redeploy it and then shoot it immediately upon redeploy. Is essentially how you can think about it. And it's tooled so that this whole list is tooled to be right on the cusp of going to virtuous. So if he comes on because of the thing, this has been explained to me by somebody else, so please forgive me if this isn't entirely true and correct, but the theory behind this and the way it's built is that it can walk on from reserve, and so many people are bringing some little Viper or Rhino or some small vehicle, and it can come on and pop that vehicle, immediately go to virtuous, and because it's taking another trait to act as if it's from House Raven, and it's got another House Raven trait, it can instantly get a 6 to use on the mortal wound strat. So that's the idea. It walks in, uses one gun to pop like a Viper, automatically gets a 6, slaps down like a bucket of mortal wounds on another target. So
that was my question, and I love this. I love that tech.
I think it's
that
awesome.
stacks with the simultaneous shooting. I guess you just.
So this was like I said. If this is incorrect, do apologize. It might be the next turn that becomes active.
Not challenging, just questioning about like how how that all stacks up with that.
But see, that's exactly what I asked. I said, well, does it? And that's how it was explained to me by essentially John Lennon. So I do trust the guy, but only to a point. If he's incorrect, I do apologize. If I put that false.
We blame him if he's not right.
Exactly right.
Look, this is actually a great example of any time that look, when the opponent does an incredibly powerful thing, which is okay for incredibly powerful things to be in the game for sure. Ask him, hey, well, how's that work out?
Yep. I mean, so if Virtuous is at the end of the phase, maybe there's a House Raven thing to always act at +1 or something like that. This is how it was explained to me, and if this is true and correct how it is, this is a phenomenal tech.
Maybe he just likes taking Castellans. Like
maybe he just likes. Maybe he's got a really nicely converted Castellan, and he wants to put it on the table.
Even if everything I just said there is incorrect, and it is just a Castellan that gets to walk on turn 1 and always gets to shoot. Yeah, that's good enough. That's already good enough to warrant the experimentation, the testing, because I think it's savage. I think it's really good. So
getting the opportunity to always remove what the most devastating thing to you is very strong. Underutilized that we've seen in Arcs of Moment so far. One 100%. Of the great benefits of what this new mission set has given us, and so. Yeah, that's a great tactic no matter what, I think.
Can confirm that coming back on from reserve turn 1 with something that can kill something is really good.
Confirm good. But yeah, that's that event, boys. What do we think?
Yeah, so this is the part in the show, if you're just tuning in for the first time, where we pick either a faction that's going to bring this down or a player we think is going to bring this down. Dustin, what do you think?
I actually really like that orc list from Ben. I really like that orc list. The knobs alone sell me on it.
That's fair.
Plus, there's a lot of orcs there.
I got to go Astra Militarum, just a weight of numbers. There's so many different variations of how that list can be built, and I think there's enough of them where one of them's going to get through the pile.
That makes sense. That always going with the numbers is always a good choice.
I am going to go for CSM. Because it's the highest numbers we've seen of them in a while, and I want to back them to get a podium while they can.
But wait, what CSM is being played there? Is it?
Actually, you're right. I did a disservice. I should have looked in.
What the hell? I
looked into the breakdown.
It's probably Abaddon and some obliterators.
Some dudes,
clearly.
Some spiky boys. It's probably.
One of them's got like a horn right there on the top.
Yeah. Top knot, something.
It's gonna be great. Look, he goes with his heart.
Yeah, no, that's fair. You can absolutely go with your heart.
So we have one more event to talk about. I don't know if we're going to take a pause for a station identification.
No, unfortunately
not. Didn't look like it, so we're just going to keep going. We got Dustin pulling double duty today. Saw the fear in his eyes when I mentioned
no.
Next event we're talking about is the Southampton Grand Tournament from South London, England. What is that?
Where's that? Get your measuring tape out. You can figure out how far it is.
It's just there, mate. Yeah.
I think it's right.
They're rolling dice just down the road.
Anyways, coming up, maybe I don't know. We'll see what's going on this weekend.
No, it's actually
98 players.
So Southampton's actually right at the bottom of the country, between Portsmouth and Bournemouth. I think two port cities. Southampton right in the middle. Brighton off to the lovely right, but it is like bottom left adjacent London. Confirmed.
7 rounds, almost 200 players.
So we will be seeing in the Imperial Super faction there are 5 Sisters of Battle, 14 Custodes, 4 AdMech, 13 Astro Militarum, 1 Grey Knight, and 7 Imperial Knights. Space Marines, there's 17 Dark Angels.
That's
The
approximately 107 Deathwing
The
Terminators.
foreshadowing.
At least. 4 Space Wolves, 4 Blood Angels, 5 Ultramarines, 1 Black Templar, 1 Raven Guard, 1 White Scar, 1 Imperial Fist, 10 Iron Hands, and 1 Death Watch. Just one Death Watch everywhere. It's the same guy.
Yeah.
100% the same guy.
It's a very busy dude.
Very busy dude. Chaos, there's 6 Chaos Space Marines, 4 T-Suns, 1 Death Guard, 6 World Eaters, and 14 Demons. 7 Renegade Knights. Xenos, there's 2 Necrons, 8 Orcs, 15 Tau, and 9 Votan. What is this meta out here? Oh my god!
This is some player plus terrain.
Yeah. Hive Mind, there's 2 Tyranids, 6 Genestealer Cults. Eldari, there's 7 Drukhari, 1 Harlequin, 16 Asuriani, and 2 Yanari. Meaning the faction podium is Dark Angels, topping it off with 17. Ugh. Asuriani in second with 16, and then Tau with 15. Asuriani are in second of the faction podium here.
Can I just say one thing about this event?
You can say more than one thing.
Yuck.
Yeah, yuck is the word. Ick. I will go with ick.
Yuck.
Let's actually talk about the UK and Europe meta that we saw, for over the last 8-9 months or so. We've actually seen a healthy shift from, I don't know what, a year ago where there were 37 Death Guard players.
Yes, that is true. They were the Death Guard heartland. Now there's a bit more diversity, but there's so much DACA over there.
A bit more
so
diversity.
much DACA, man. It's crazy.
This is just a shooting gallery. Like, if you're bringing a close combat army, you better pray that there's some terrain to block it.
It's the extremes of both, though. So 16 Asturani, 9 Votan, 15 Tau. How many guard you got? 13 Astra Militarum. But then you've also got the defensive ones are present too. You've got 14 Custodians. You have the Dark Angels. Like, you have the Demons. You have like just the extremes are in abundance of both.
Are you putting the Demons in the defensive profile?
Wound gating, 3-up horrors, the Zinch list. Kind of. I'm putting them more in the defensive than the offensive, if I'll say that. Well, defensive against shooting.
Are they Zinch? If they're Zinch, 100%, you're absolutely right.
Well, I think they're all defensive against shooting, because they arrive from reserve. They got wound gating, feel no pains, -1 army wide stuff. But they're at the extremes. The polarities are there, and the middle's a mess.
Yeah, no, the middle is a mess.
Yeah. Oh man,
I do like this though. I mean, it seems like they've embraced a lot of the, again, the shifting around, the different deployment options, and then the terrain features. There's a big shift in list here. Asturani, I wouldn't have expected this many, even in a 200 player event.
We were talking about it the last couple of times that Asturani were a bit on the rise with the AOC gone. Their Halo Blades build is actually a lot better, but this is a huge jump.
Yeah, but this is so exactly right. This is the theory kind of starting to take practice, because analysts all over the interwebs, us especially, have been saying Halo Doom's phenomenal again. Ulthway's really good. Where's the numbers? We haven't seen the traction coming back, and this is the first big event where I think we can safely say people have figured it out.
They've been waiting for the event to be actually near London instead of just
sending out of the webway on London.
The webway gate's in London.
The webway gate is in London. Yeah, they confirmed. Right. There it is.
That's it.
We found it.
So
Paul
good.
found the webway gate.
Comes out of the gherkin. That's a real thing over here.
Yeah, it is. It is. Wait, the webway gate or the gherkin?
The gherkin.
I mean,
just making sure.
One of those.
Mate, I am a fan. Sorry, I just went to a supermarket and got what we call a pub sub from Publix supermarket, and always next to the sub checkout are these big pickles it's a single pickle in like a little Ziploc sachet thing, and every time I grab one, and it's just such a joy. I wish everyone should experience this.
A giant pickle in a bag?
It's actually better if you get it from a gas station.
Oh, really?
A giant pickle from a bag from a gas station. This is getting really, really concerning.
100%. Okay, I'm with you, mate.
Have you had sushi at a gas station before, man? It is not.
Who hasn't?
I've once.
It is not recommended.
I've felt the desperation. Anyway, top players in attendance. Let's go into it. First and foremost, David Gaylard of the wonderful Fireside 40K podcast. Vic Vijay is in the chat, the other half of that duo. Thank you very much for joining us, brother. He is playing Astra Militarum Born Soldiers. And David was ranked as one of the top 10 players in the ITC for pretty much all of last season. Definitely a guy to watch. Heavy supports is his mandatory for Arcs of Omens. He's got a Cadian command squad, Lord Solar Leontis, a tank commander in a Plasmacutioner, Death Corps Marshal, 4x10 Cadian infantry, 3 units of 10 Kassakin, the absolute maximum you can take, 2x3 Armored Sentinels, which I'm actually becoming quite a big fan of, 1 Scout Sentinel, 3 Mortar Heavy Weapons teams, 2 Lehman Russ Executioners, and a single Chimera to pack it all together. Essentially, 100% David was like, oh, they didn't nerf Kassakin?
Yeah. Yep.
What's the
30.
Marshal in there for? What is that dude bringing to the table?
So he's the order. I think he's the order monkey for the mechanized Kassakin. Vic will probably confirm in the chat for us, but you need you got your unit of Kassakin that can get out of the Chimera after they move. Well, you need a guy to order them to do stuff. And sometimes you take a Cadian Castellan or the Cadian company commander, but people are starting to say this guy's better. He has access to some better stratagems, some better tech, but I can't quite remember what they are, unfortunately. Someone in chat might be able to tell us.
I don't have my books nearby.
I have no idea.
Vic said this is the first time you're doing Dave's list, possibly. Properly. We did it incorrectly last time? Surely not, Vic. Surely
Look, we
you
never
did.
go back.
Yeah,
because
that's
we're
right.
always
right.
Because
That's
Vic's not there, you're using the same list, so you're actually going to be going through Dave's entire list.
He's correct. Well, you're not there, mate. So you're not there.
Yeah,
to
there you
take the
go.
same
So we
list,
can actually do it.
be higher in the rankings.
But
than you,
now,
and therefore,
now David's been here first, so now we're going to go through David's list all the time, and you're going to be the one that just has the same as Dave.
that would be fantastic. Sorry, Joel Adkins, perfect, mate. The Marshal is exactly the same as the Castellan, but it's only 35 points compared
makes
to
sense.
65.
Oh well,
Yeah, I mean, like, save 30 points.
literally answered that question. I was thinking about stats.
Beauty.
and-
We got him. We got him, boys.
Another direction altogether.
That'll do it. But yeah, this is a really good list. It's got all the bits and pieces that you've come to love and loathe. The new hotness that I'm starting to see people take into is the big units of plasma-toting armored sentinels.
Yeah.
So when everything kills everything, the next thing you turn to is what's the best wound I can buy for the points?
Mm-hmm.
And seeing as Lord Solar can order the Armored Sentinels to do literally anything you can order anybody else to do, they can take any of his orders essentially, because they're both platoon and squadron, so they get the tank orders and the other orders. They become a really, really good flexible unit now. And I think in some configurations and in some matchups, they're better than a Lehman Russ. And that is what we're seeing here. Usually you'll see...
That's strong.
Well, see, the thing is, you can have both. He's still got 3 Russes. He's just taken two of them out for 2x3 armored sentinels with plasma cannons. I think it's a good take. I agree with it, and it's a great list.
Yeah, very good list for sure.
Nice
like
rundown. And talking about the Hell of Doom, we got an example next.
Oh,
We do.
Look at that.
With 16 in attendance, I had to do one of their lists. So I looked through a bunch, and I found the leanest, meanest one. There are some that are more spicy, some of that have got more flex and melee and not. And I just wanted an example of a just raw. I have so many dice. You're going to get shot so much. See you later. List. This is Alex Powell, Asuriani, Hail of Doom. Fast attack is his mandatory slots. He's got Baharoth, 2 Farseer Skyrunners, and Karandras, so 2 wound-gated models, very annoying. 3x5 Rangers, a Warlock Skyrunner, and 2 Warlocks, so a unit of 2 Warlocks. Max units of Dire Avengers, 3 of them. 3 single Vipers for all those little jank things. 3x5 Wind Riders with shooting
Hail
cannons.
makes sense,
And a Wave Serpent. So essentially 6 units min-maxing out the Hail of Doom BS. And then 6 units, the 3 single Vipers and the 3 units of Rangers, solely existing for the purpose of getting you points.
Hey, Vipers have Shuriken as well.
Exactly right. They're not slouches, but there's a beautiful duality, a beautiful balance to this one, while still having phenomenal firepower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love Karandras being in there too, by the way. Keep a lot of people kind of honest to how close do I want to get, knowing that Karandras exist.
You can just pick them up.
Yeah. Well, look at the matchups. There are so many Tau. There are so many other Asuriani. There are so many Guard and so many Votan. Essentially, apart from the Finial, in those matchups, Baharoth and Karandras just get to go and have their way with you. It's minimum 2 phases to kill him. You got 1 phase of damage, so they're great
It
picks
is,
here.
but I think the Astra Militarum players will largely just pick up everything else.
It's true. You got to rely on the jank to
Well,
not lose the
they'll
gun.
try
Yeah.
to.
They'll try
So you've
to.
got to really shift in that mentality of one of the things we always say on this show and to others is the Eldar don't trade, they just take.
Jake,
So you've got to figure out a way to outmaneuver them with your lower maneuverability.
Well, that's
stuff.
the thing, you have to, because those 9 mortar teams up there, those will just rip through a lot of
if you stand to do nothing as a Sirianni player, eventually the mortals will win the game. So you have to at some point either at some point you got to go shut down the mortars. The thing is though, they can do that. They can sling. Baharoth can just find a stupid angle and decide to just jump to it, take 3 wounds. If they've already used the finial unit, they just take 3 wounds and then just kill the mortars, and stuff like that. You can auto charge. You just get a fate dice. Karandus just deploys outside the deployment zone, moves, advances, gets in there.
Yeah, they also have a lot of psychic power. You can't forget that too. So their secondary is like a very strong game. Plus, they just have a lot of tricks they can do with it. Eldar, they were tricks good.
One super push in the Astra Militarum are now having to re-question things. They've lost a couple of things.
Yeah. And a lot of this stuff can arrive really safely from reserve. I really love in this meta right now how Dire Avengers come on, do an R&D for you, or a scout the enemy, and then also annihilate 2 units. I think it's really powerful. They get to do that action. They get to come in from reserve, do an action, possibly get an engage or behind enemy lines while they're doing R&D and just blasting away. I think they're really quite potent. The last list I'm going to take us through.
All right.
Someone was clamoring for Blood Angels. I'm sorry we don't have Blood Angels. We got the next best thing though, the Chaos version.
Wait a second.
It's basically the same thing.
It's basically the same thing. This is Tom Hames, and I looked at all the World Leaders list, and this one's like the best. He's got Lord Avocado, or Lord Invicardus, as we like to call him. He's got a Lord on Juggernaut, 10 Jackals, 3 units of 5 Zerkers, 2 units of 5 and 1 unit of 4 8-bound, 2x3 Exalted 8-bound, the ubiquitous 3 single spawn, Paul, very happy lad, a Rhino, and 2 War Dog Executioners. And the reason I like this one the best is because it fixes one of the biggest issues that World Leaders face. Wonder if you guys are aware.
You mean poppin' transports?
Poppin' transports.
The ability to shoot anything.
The ability to shoot anything.
Correct. But mostly it's poppin' transports.
Yeah.
When you have to 2-turn one of their units, like so I have let's say I'm playing my Grey Knights and I have 10 interceptors inside a Rhino. You got to kill the Rhino, get killed by the interceptors, then kill the interceptors. I'm 2 for 1 here. Essentially, or take
burn time, but you've actually burned a lot of time in the game.
And a lot of time, especially
that's I think the real unfortunate part.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, occupying a lot of things to come and do this job because it's not guaranteed 5 Zerkers are going to kill a Rhino. They can, but not guaranteed. So usually it's 5 Zerkers.
Even if they do, you want to be able to charge stuff inside, not just open it up for it, right?
Yeah. Exactly right. So I actually really like the addition here of the. I also really like he's taken 2, not 3. I think 3 is losing too much melee oomph. In the grindy melee matchups, you're gonna lose because you just have 160 points less of the grindy oomph, and you're World Eaters, baby.
Yeah,
you don't want too much DACA.
No. Yeah, you needed to open up some of the can to get the tuna inside, but other than that, you don't need to. You shouldn't get too much of it. And then I've seen a lot of World Leaders talk about this too, and some of them don't. They think you lose too much for the execution, but I don't know. I think I'm on the executioner train.
So there's 8 aggressive units here. I'm not counting the spawn, not counting the characters.
Oh, very themey, even if it's accidental.
There's 8. There's 8 poppy, melee, smash units here. And there's still 2 really good killer characters. So that's 10 offensive units, not counting the spawn, not counting the Jackals. And I hate to tell you, like Jackals are good. Late game Jackals, when they got a couple of blood ties up, Jackals are freaking savage.
And it seems he's got the blood tie point caddies here essentially, even in the form of those knights. I mean, it's one of those to where if those spawn up, those knights throw a Rhino up. I guess I'm +1 charging pretty soon.
Yeah, we got a suggestion in chat. I like using a brass scorpion. You get the shooty and also happy slaps.
Whoa,
that's a choice.
Let's take it easy a little bit.
No. I respect it. Terry the Tea Tortoise respects it.
Hey, at that point, just bring a Lord of Skulls, right? That's just go all in at that point.
I mean, I like the brass scorpion model a lot more, but I think
it's better. It's better.
Yeah, Well, it's 170. It's 575 for the Lord of Skulls.
Yeah.
It's 420. I want to say it's over 100 points less. I know it's over 100 points less.
That's
for the
significant.
Scorp.
That
is
is
That's 4 more spawn.
exactly right. It's 4 right there.
I mean, for the most part, like this is what you're going to see. I think the world leaders list is usually you'll have the double juggernaut, like Lord Avocado and the Juggernaut, and then you'll have at least 15 to 20 berserkers, 1 or 2 rhinos. You want 3 units of 8-bound, probably
Absolutely
2 units of exalted 8-bound. So like this is pretty, and then the 3x1 spawn. Like you put that in every list, like every list. Yeah,
That's
the
where
Lord
it
of
starts.
Mokadas, he doesn't fly traditionally. It's like a flying fish. He actually swims through the blood and comes up only for photographs.
yeah. I had somebody try to explain how it
And
flies
then
to me,
down
and I
into the
just
back of the
don't
blood
get it. I just don't get it. It just wills it to fly because it flies on its hatred, and it's yeah. That sounds like some
Amazing.
Mary Poppins stuff, guys. I don't really.
It is. It
I'm
really
not
is.
really.
Yeah, advertise for a nanny
Yeah.
for your kids.
Look, those
Lord
are great
Avocado comes
lists.
flying in.
And we know this is a very competitive section of the world here. So, I mean, lots of great players over the course of the weekend. It's going to be very difficult to pick a faction or a player you think is a winner. Adam, you go first this time.
This one I'm
What's
putting on the guard.
Yeah.
David Gaylard, the only lad that I know for sure is from the Southern Hemisphere. Got to represent. Go, David.
Yeah,
Dustin, what do you
I have
think?
to go with the guard as well. The guard in this, they're just they're in a really good spot because I think they outshoot all the shooty armies, and they can screen the close combat armies enough to kill them before they get to them.
I'm going to go with Dark Angels.
That's fair. That's a good choice too.
Totally fair.
I think a lot of we know this is a grindy. People know how to play grindy,
Mhm.
boots on the ground type games here in this region, and they're the ones doing it the best right now.
Yep, for sure.
It's true. Yeah, can't disagree there.
There we go. Those are our picks. Good luck to everybody the course of this weekend. Now we're to a point in the show where a little bit of a palate cleanser. We've been talking about the crunchy meta stuff, the numbers, the stats, the spawn, the spikes, the spit, the flying blood.
Mary
I like to
Poppins.
kind of decompress a little bit, relax with a segment we call the Fuego Rapido. We give ourselves 2 minutes in a series of topics. We start the clock as soon as the topic is read. Then we fire off some responses or reactions to that topic. Once the 2 minutes are up, we abandon that topic, never to come to it again. Well, unless it's really funny. Then
Yeah.
we might go back to it
Might go
eventually.
back at some point, yeah.
Or we get some requests or something. We'll see.
That also,
But anyway, it's a nice little way to chill out here at the end of the show after this journey we've been on.
of course. And we have the theme this time because Nikki was hungry as he was writing it, so I believe it's food themed.
Oh, one of my favorite subjects.
One of your favorite subjects, exactly. Oh, that is not it. I think there we go. Food fight. There's we got there. So the first one is ranch or blue cheese.
Blue cheese all day, every day.
It doesn't matter what you're eating. It's always just
Doesn't matter. If you
Really?
see me with ranch, I'm probably a clone, and you should report to the blue cheese authorities.
okay. So even if there's what about like a ranch salad or what else is ranch good with? There's some like sandwiches, like some chicken
Now,
buffalo chicken
anything you
sandwiches.
could think to put ranch on, blue cheese is probably better on.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
Oh, I think we lost Adam. Oh, he's back now. Okay. We got him back. We got him back.
I knocked out my mic dongle and had to jump in, jump out again. Ranch or blue cheese? It's got to be ranch. I do like blue cheese.
Okay.
But only on specific things.
But okay, what specific things though?
Yeah.
I actually kind of like it on not amazing steak. Blue cheese.
Blue cheese.
Like,
Oh
what?
no. Okay. No. I'm behind the
blue cheese on a steak
yeah,
or
blue
ranch?
cheese. Blue cheese, right?
Blue cheese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
You almost had a
Ranch-
ride on
ranch-
your hands there, Adam. That was
Ranch,
close.
chips, salad, wings. Sure. Yeah.
The-
On like a steak that I don't want to, that I think might not be the premium. Sure. Blue cheese
No,
sauce.
guys.
Let's go.
You get a blue cheese and blue cheese with garlic butter, and you put that in an oven with the steak. That gives you like the most moist, tasty steak. That is my favorite. That is I'm gonna go make one of those now after this actually because now my mouth is watering for that stuff. It is so good, so good. But it's 100% blue cheese. Like I don't think I have ranch on. There's a couple sandwiches like I was telling Paul. Like so, there's some like buffalo chicken sandwiches that I like, like a ranch sauce on there. But
I don't even actually know what ranch is made out of.
No one does.
Horses.
No one does. You're not allowed to. It's a secret.
Actually, yeah.
It's ranch. It just comes in a packet. It's ranch. It's actually dill. What is it? Dill. A little bit of yogurt. Right.
No, that nailed it so well, Paul.
Yeah, for sure. We got that. Fuego. Soup or salad?
It's a super salad.
Super salad?
To me, it depends on where. So in America, it's soup. Everywhere else in the world, usually salad. What America gives you as a salad ain't it. It ain't it. It's
really.
It's leaf and usually meat on the leaf, and I'm like, yeah. I've been asking people, does your salad have meat on it? And they're like, yes, there's bacon on the salad. I'm like, why is there bacon on the salad?
Because bacon is Caesar salad.
It is. It's delicious, but yeah, usually it is. Sometimes there is a couscous lettuce. Usually it's iceberg, and then it is just that with way too much dressing. Is what I have found in America.
In America, maybe yeah.
So I usually go for soup.
Okay, Paul.
I'm a salad person.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have something,
get a salad.
I'm probably not going to order a soup. If it's chili, it's a different story. But that's not a soup.
That's not a soup. That's chili. I'm behind that.
You mean if it's cold or the dish?
The dish itself.
Okay, yeah. Then yeah. Dude, if they got chili, yeah, I'm tapping that.
Oh,
if they got chili, that means that's good.
Right. See, for me, like it's hard to order a salad at like a restaurant or something unless I've been there before because when I have salad, I want the crispy lettuce. Like I love crispy because if it's soggy, if it has too much dressing, or just they do the lazy cut of the end of the romaine or something and they put that in there, I hate that. But if it's like the middle, the crispy, like the picture that we have up there, that's the kind of salad I like. That's the crispy bits.
This man knows the different styles of cuts on the romaine.
I think my issue is I don't respect lettuce. I think this
don't respect lettuce.
Now we're getting to it. Now we're opening it up.
Now we're opening it up.
Let it go. Let it go.
All the goodness of water given texture is what salad is. I'll just drink some water. Thank you very much.
So
that's why the crunch is important.
That's why the crunch is important. Exactly. See, you're agreeing with me without even realizing it, Adam.
Yeah. That's what we do. We violently agree with each other.
I am a leaf enjoyer, however. I like rocket. I like or arugula, as it's called here. I very much like spinach. I'm a big spinach fan.
We're out of time.
We're out of time. We can't hear anymore about what you like anymore.
You'll never know about the other leaves I respect.
We'll never know. The other leaves. Waffles or pancakes?
Ooh, this is hard.
This is. I expected to have a quick answer for this, but I don't.
No, I don't either. At their peaks, I believe the best waffle is better than the best pancake.
But I feel like pancakes you can do a lot more with in terms of like make them like gourmet the things you make them with though. But I think like pound for pound, you're right. But the best waffle is better than the best pancake.
I have had some of those messed up Japanese pancakes that are literally like eating air.
See?
And that was an experience.
See?
I did not say I felt like I was eating a pancake though. It felt like I was eating like a souffle.
What about like those I don't know if they're actually pancakes, but they're Korean taco? I think they're technically pancakes. I may be wrong though.
Oh, like the bao stuff? Is
that what it is?
Yeah. The bao. Yep.
Yeah. So that's actually a hard one because I feel like
mozzarella McGriddles are delicious. I actually have a funny story about a friend of mine who I watched him taste a McGriddle for the first time. It's a very interesting situation.
Is it like watching a baby eat sugar for the first time?
It is. It's like like a bowl. He's like they put syrup in this.
There's so much you could do with a pancake though, because you can like put chocolate chips in there. You can put bananas in there if you want to be healthy. Spinach, like whatever.
I think you're right. The texture of the waffle being able to hold the butter and the syrup and stuff. Yeah. But this is almost. They're very comparable. Like a great pancake is also still amazing.
It's true.
So literally, Gitly Gaming has just said what I was going to say. If it had said crepes on here, I would have picked crepes.
Oh, it's like a thin pancake.
I like crepes a lot.
So you like pancakes then?
No, it's thinner.
No, because that's a pancake. It's not a waffle, Adam. You can't just
exactly right. No, that's what I mean. Like if it said Waffles or crepes.
Sometimes your grandmother makes you a giant pancake, and that becomes your favorite.
And then you're gonna explain to your grandmother that, why is it a crepe, Grandma? What the hell?
I'm going with waffle.
Fuego on that one.
Fuego. I just got it in there.
Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
You mean Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola?
It's definitely Coke.
Is it?
Neither. I don't like either.
Okay, but that's not how the game is played, Adam. Like, you can't pick neither. Where's a coin? Oh, no. You don't get a vote then. Never mind. You don't get a vote. That's not.
Coke.
You didn't even call which one it was. You just picked it. So that's what you actually felt.
You know why? Because I actually did enjoy a vanilla Coke once.
A vanilla Coke. Did you have a vanilla Pepsi though?
Can't recall. Probably.
The best vanilla Cokes come from Waffle House.
So there you go. Waffle House, vanilla Coke. Adam's now down.
Okay.
Unless it's a crepe, then it's Pepsi.
Correct.
That's
fancy.
You know me so well, Dustin.
I try. I've learned a lot about you over the past 2 years, Adam. I learned you lie about freaking animals being made up and everything. But other than that, I think I've figured out a lot of it. For me, I don't know, because I've always gone back to this whole scary thing when somebody told me that the Coke Zero has formaldehyde in it.
Hey, lots of things probably do.
I'm sure Pepsi does
Doesn't
too.
mean it can't be delicious.
Oh, no. It is delicious. It is delicious.
I don't think it does, though.
I don't think it does either. That seems wrong to me because I feel like that's just wrong. I think the taste-wise, I think I'm a Pepsi guy.
Oh,
which is weird because I've actually grown up on Coke, but maybe that's why I prefer the Pepsi sometimes because I'm just bored of Coke because I've had it my entire life. And now when I have a Pepsi, like, ooh, this is.
It does seem like the farther north you get, that the Pepsi seems to get more popular, and you are like incredibly north.
I am incredibly north. Yes, I'm very far north, in fact. Yeah, that would make sense too. And I feel like actually, I like Coke products better. Like I like their Orange Crush better than C+, but I think Pepsi more than Coke specifically.
Yeah. Right.
That's Fuego. Oh, here we go. Fries or chips or crisps, and what terminology is right?
This.
Do you call them differently down in Australia, Adam?
Yes.
What are they called there?
Chips is everything.
Chips is just everything. Okay.
But
chips is the ones on the left and the ones on the right.
Are chips, like, it's specifically like when referred to chips as sliced and then fried potatoes, does that denote a specific thickness and diameter of potato?
No, the only distinction we have is chips or wedges.
Chips or wedges.
Wedges are like thicker cut chips, and they're seasoned.
Wedges have fallen off.
Yeah, wedges have fallen off.
That's right. They have fallen off big time. Yeah. Bit of sour cream, bit of sweet chili, bit of chives on top. They went all right for a time. Well, back in the late 90s, late 1900s, as we have been called. But no, they're all chips, and I prefer the crisps. If I had to distinction you'll understand. I prefer crisps. I'm a bit of a pig for good crisps. I've been eating my way through every variety I can find in the South.
Oh heck yeah! I was actually at a supermarket not that long ago, a couple days ago. Like, we should get some cookies. Like, oh, do you mean biscuits?
No,
I would actually love a biscuit too, but we're not getting those in this country.
That's not what I mean. No. We call them fries here. That's just. But there's definitely not called anything different.
What's your favorite condiment for your fries and/or chips or crisps?
If they're good, I just like salt and lots of it.
Sometimes a lot of bit of vinegar in it too. Actually, salt and vinegar.
I've been into malt vinegar recently.
Malt vinegar. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I actually like that. If you're talking about like regular condiments like ketchup, mustard, or whatever, I mean ketchup is usually the one, but that's only if it's not a good fry. Like Adam said, if it's a good fry,
a little real crispy on the exterior, a little pillowy on the inside.
Yeah.
That perfect double fry.
Now I'm making steak and fries for dinner. All right, we got the dinner plans now.
Stuff the steak with blue cheese.
Okay, and I gotta open it up. It's more work. I'm too hungry for that, Paul. Maybe next time. That is it, though.
That is the end of our show. I like a good food-based fuego.
Yeah, that's good. I like the food ones now, especially right before dinner now, because now I'm gonna actually get to eat. This is important.
Yeah, I got to figure out what I'm doing. I'm falling in love with plantains all over again.
I've been eating plantain chips lately, and they are actually delightful.
Plantain and plantain-related products.
They are delightful.
That is our show for this week. Talking about 2 great tournaments. Next week we'll be talking about some more great tournaments, 2 and or 3. If you're going to one of these events, let us know you're going. Maybe we feature it on the show. Also get in the chat, see what's going on. A great set of chats and stuff all this evening. Thanks a lot. Well, I guess evening for me. I appreciate y'all's consideration to the time change this time so we can still do it live. It's been an absolute pleasure. Dustin, we need to mention that you rocked it last weekend.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yes, my new sword to add to my collection. Nice husk blade. Get a nice view of that.
So it was what, 4 wins and a draw?
4 wins and a draw, and it was a massive draw too. Like a massive draw. He actually had the ability to potentially win that game, but it was such a risky play. And if he failed it, then he would have given the game to me. So he's like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just happy with the draw because I wasn't as fast as him to do the same play. So he decided to make it a draw. I'm gonna blame Sam for that one.
Put the onus on.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have a public platform, so
that's true.
Yeah. What you said is true. It's the truth.
100%. It's gospel.
That's it. Gospel.
Well, congratulations to you and all your opponents and
Thank
all
you.
that stuff. And yeah, Adam and Dustin. Chat, everybody out there. If we'll be back next week, leave some 5-star reviews. We'll see you soon.
See you then.